Hello all, my name is Ben with DeLong Rigging Solutions. The pin rail is where spot lines are operated. It is often located at mid-rail height in a theater, but could be on the stage floor or even temporarily installed. There are often two physical pin rails, the top one for ropes going to the far side of the stage, opposite of where you are, or the bottom one for the ropes on the near side of the stage, closer to you. The rails themselves are made from very large, very strong metal pipes with holes drilled through them and pins, also called belaying pins, placed every so often. Sometimes the pins are made of metal, and sometimes wood. In either case, neither the pins nor the ropes should be touched unless you know with complete confidence what you are doing. As you can imagine, it is very important to keep the pin rail neat so no one trips or gets snagged in the ropes. The ropes must be clearly labeled with their working position and whatever is attached so you can find the correct one quickly when you need to. Sometimes spot lines are used for cable picks, holding electrical cables in position, or they might hold electrical boxes called pendants for our lighting friends. You might use a pair of spot lines to hang a loudspeaker for performers to use an overhead audio monitor, or to hang a video display so they can see the conductor camera, or to hang masking tab curtains so the audience can't see into the wings. You might store something by hanging it in the air rather than having it take up valuable stage floor space, or you may even use spot lines for scenic and prop elements of the show during the performance. The uses of the pin rail are as infinite as your imagination. When you're operating the pin rail, clear, concise communication between the person on the pin rail and the downrigger who is on the stage floor is vital. The downrigger will have a flashlight or a laser and will point it up either at an existing sandbag, or if there isn't one in the location needed, they will shine it up to the grid, and an uprigger will need to go to that position in the grid, install a shiv there, and another one just above the pin rail, and then drop a rigging rope in both directions. Let's say they want to use one that is already installed. The ground rigger will shine their light onto the sandbag attached to the rope they want to use. To find that bag, simply give a tug on each of the suspected ropes until you find the right one. On the deck, this one! And the ground rigger will say, yes, no, or sure, let's give it a try. Once you've identified the correct rope, neatly lay the bundle of excess rope on the floor by lifting it from the pin and setting it down, ensuring you haven't twisted the bundle. You want the rope to be able to play out or feed without getting caught on anything else or getting fouled on itself. By only having the ropes on the floor of the lines you're currently using, you keep your walkway clear, and that's safer for everyone. Let's say you're going to a spot line for the first time and you're not exactly sure the weight of what's on the other end of this rope. So as you start to untie it, is to let it into stage, go slowly, exercise caution as you let the loops off, the figure eights. As you get close to the last of the loops, test the weight and see if it wants to run before you have the loops off. Sometimes you can let it run with the loop still on to let something heavy in safely without overpowering you. Then start to undo the wraps around the pin. The sandbag on the spot line should be heavy enough in its storage position to let the rope run in. Remember to yell down on the deck, sandbag coming in, stage right, or whatever the appropriate location is. Make sure that they keep the area clear and that they have an eye out for the sandbag descending overhead. Slowly start to let it in, keeping a hand on the belay pin so that it doesn't pull out of the rail. Some venues have these belay pins welded in place, so that's not necessary. And if you need to slow it down more or get better control, pull up the line in your hand against the other part of the line that is next to the rail, giving it even more friction. When you're ready to start again, reconfirm that the path is clear by calling down to the rigger below. And once you know it's okay, begin again. We still clear stage right? Good. Once you have the sandbag all the way into the stage deck, you need to tie off your operating line. Make certain you have first crossed the load side of the line and then figure eighted your rope around the belay pin at least twice. Then, using the part of the rope coming up from the bottom pin, make a loop and flip it, placing the loop over the top of the belay pin, capturing the work end of the rope, and pull gently to snug it tight. That's called a cleat knot. It's important to keep those loops going in the same direction, one over another, And the flipped loop on the last one should retain the route and direction of rotation as the previous figure eights. Okay, our downrigger has attached the load to the other end and it's time to pull it out, taking it up into the air above the people on the stage. The downrigger will yell up to me that it's ready to go out, and he'll also keep an eye on it as it's moving because it may be located where I can't see it. I undo my knot, keeping a hand on it so it won't move until I want it to. In this case, I need to pull on my end of the rope. So I'm going to take it all the way off of the belay pin. And as I'm pulling hand over hand, I'm not paying too much attention to the coil of the rope that's gathering here on the floor, because I'll take care of that later. But I am listening for the ground rigger to yell stop when I reach a trim height or to give me other instructions. So when I hear stop, I take the tail end of the rope and I throw it around the bottom of the belay pin and then lock it by crossing it over the standing line of the coming down from the grid, thus starting my cleat knot. I'm going to confirm with the ground rigger that the position is correct and make any adjustments needed. When the location is confirmed, lock it and tie the rest of the cleat knot, giving 2 full wraps and having that twisted loop in the 3rd wrap snug down. Now it's time to mark the line with a tag telling what's on it and where it is on stage. Then make my coil pretty so the next time someone comes up here, they know that it's in use and they can just let the rope feed right off of the top. If there are many ropes, I may lay the coil back over the top of the belay pin to eliminate the trip hazard. And that's the basics of operating the pinrail. Please remember that DeLong Rigging Solutions one-shot training videos are meant as general information. Every system is different, every venue has different procedures, and even the same show in different places has different needs. All statements made make certain assumptions about systems and venue similarities. Nothing can replace on-site training with a qualified individual. If ever you have a question or concern about rigging, do not hesitate to reach out to us or another qualified vendor in your area.